The major problem is that we usually start with the optional. Okay, so most of the people, they think that कि चलो optional से शुरू करते हैं, optional खत्म हो जाएगा, optional बहुत important है, and people they start thinking about the optional कि कौन सा optional लेना है from the very first day since they start the preparation, without knowing what part of the syllabus of UPSC they are getting more interested in. आपने अभी तक UPSC की कुछ भी तैयारी नहीं की, but the first thing that you will decide or choose is your optional, and you start your classes with your optional because you have chosen the option. Now the thing is, when you start your UPSC preparation, you might decide, or say you might feel interested in politics, you might feel interested in some other subjects, maybe geography, maybe science and tech, or maybe some other aspects. And based on that, you can then decide what optional you want to choose. Okay, maybe if you're finding polity interesting, or say if you're finding, say, some subjects interesting, you can basically take an option which might be very much similar to it. Okay, आपको अपने interest का तभी पता चलेगा, first thing. Second, more any optional that you will be reading, say any of the humanities optional specifically, like sociology, anthropology, sorry, psychology, anything, they require a basic knowledge of GS. If you don't have the knowledge about modern India, if you don't have the knowledge about art and culture of India, you don't have the knowledge about world history, some basic laws of politics, or say Indian constitution, बहुत सारे ऑप्शनल में एवरीथिंग might seem more abstract in nature. बहुत ज्यादा आपको हवाबाजी लगेगी. Because you will not be able to relate to the ground realities, and the optional teacher will not go and teach you from the basics. So starting from the optional will actually make you feel the UPSC journey a bit tougher. Okay, but having a basic idea of GS and then starting with the optional, that might actually make you feel that the UPSC journey is relatively lighter. Okay, so that is why don't start with the optional, start with your GS. It will help you in choosing a better optional जिसके साथ आपका interest align कर रहे हैं. And second, it will have you, or it will make you understand the subject even better, because optional do require some basic knowledge of GS. So only once you are done with the GS, or some basic aspects of the GS are done, then only starting the optional will make some sense. So develop some kind of familiarity with every subject and then start with the optional. Don't start with the optional and then move to GS. Okay. The next major problem is doing optional and GS together. Say I just started a coaching, मैंने उसी कोचिंग में ऑप्शनल की भी क्लास ले ली, उसी कोचिंग में जीएस की भी क्लास ले ली, और एकदम दोनों साथ में शुरू हो रहे हैं, दोनों को साथ में कर रहे हैं. Now it seems like I have created a 1-year plan and I'm thinking to do the GS and optional together. And what actually happens that you will be spending 6 to 7 hours a day doing classes only. आप 6 से 7 घंटे अगर पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, सिर्फ क्लास कर रहे हो, what is the time that is left for your self study? What is the time that you will be having for revision, for answer writing, for say test and all? आपके पास कुछ नहीं है. आपका पूरा का पूरा दिन सिर्फ क्लास करते में निकल जाएगा. You will not have a time for anything. Okay. Plus, if somehow आपने किसी तरीके से एफर्ट लगा के बहुत ज्यादा एफर्ट लगा के आप 12-12 घंटे पढ़ रहे हो, 6-7 घंटे क्लास कर रहे हैं, 4-5 घंटे मैं एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ भी रहा हूँ, that is not sustainable also. You will not be able to sustain it for 6 months. एक टाइम ऐसा आएगा कि आपका बर्नआउट इतनी जल्दी हो जाएगा that you will not feel like going to the GS class or the optional class, and you will start skipping both the GS and the optional together. Okay, and that's why initially you might feel that I have all the energy, मैं जितनी energy exert कर दूं. But remember, this is a test match, not a 1 day or a 2020. You will have to maintain that optimism, you will have to maintain that consistency, not for just 1 day or 1 month, but rather for a 1.5 year, or at least 2.5 years, 1.5 years of preparation and 1 year of that cycle. अगर आपको ये say basically consistency 2.5 साल तक maintain करनी है, then in that case you will have to maintain a balance, have a schedule that is sustainable. You can do it for 2.5 years. नहीं तो आप शुरुआत में अपने आप को इतना exert करोगे तो within 4-5 months you will start feeling that burnout कि आपको कुछ करने का मन नहीं करेगा. So that's why do not do GS and optional together. Start slow, start lighter. Okay, so start with the GS, get used to the subject, develop a schedule. You are able to study at least 8 to 9 hours a day, and then once you have developed a flow in the GS, then in the mid you can then start with the optional, because that would not feel anything overwhelming. अभी आपने कॉलेज पास किया है, you have just started, and all of a sudden you decided कि मेरे को यूपीएससी करना है, मैं 14 घंटे पढ़ूंगा, और मैंने जीएस और ऑप्शनल एक साथ ले लिया, तो ना जीएस अच्छे से होगा ना ऑप्शनल अच्छे से होगा, बर्नआउट फील करोगे. ओके, एंड दैट्स व्हाई स्टार्ट विद द जीएस, move with the flow, develop a flow, and then move to the option. Okay, so that is the best way. Or maybe 1 year with the GS, and then maybe the 6 months you can go only with the optional, and उस point of time पे आप GS को revise करो. That can also be done. Are you getting this? So make sure that you should not do the optional and GS at least from the beginning. Somewhere in the mid, when you have developed the flow with the GS, only then you should start the optional.